Hi, welcome to RebzBasics. This episode, we'll be working with buttermilk biscuits. Now, before anybody freaks out, I'm not talking about making biscuits from scratch. Take it from somebody who knows homemade biscuits are delicious, but they're also really tricky to make, and it's not really something I'd ever want to try to teach somebody who's just learning how to cook. No, our biscuits are going to come out of the refrigerated section of any grocery store. They come in those little cardboard tubes that you have to punch a hole in from the side. They're reasonably priced and versatile, and they're easily incorporated into any beginning cook's repertoire of foods. Appropriately enough, we're going to begin today by using biscuits for a classic southern breakfast dish, sausage gravy. Let's get started. Okay, we start our sausage gravy out by browning 1 pound of breakfast sausage in a hot skillet. Make sure that the sausage is thoroughly cooked and take this time to break up the meat into smaller pieces with a spatula while it's cooking. Once the sausage is cooked, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour to the skillet and we're going to stir it in real good. Look closely at it and take this time to break up any clumps of flour that you see. Now you're going to let that cook for about a minute or so. Then we're going to add 2 cups of milk. Now I like my sausage gravy to be really meaty, but if you want to stretch out the gravy and make it saucier, remember this: a tablespoon of flour in the sausage at the beginning will thicken a cup of milk, more or less. And then just add your flour accordingly. If you want more sauce, add more flour. We'll let this mixture simmer on the stove until it thickens, which will be in less than 5 minutes. You may think it's not going to thicken up, but give it time. It will. Now you can test for proper thickness by taking a spoon and coating the back of it with the gravy, then running your finger across the length of the spoon. If the sauce doesn't come down and cover the path your finger made, then the sauce is thick enough. Now if the sauce gets too thick, you can thin it down with a little bit of milk or water. Just add it in small amounts until you have it as thin as you want. When your biscuits are ready and out of the oven, take a couple of them, cut them in half, put them on the plate, and spoon the gravy over the top. And that's sausage gravy with biscuits, a popular southern breakfast dish that you can eat by itself or with other items like eggs, fried potatoes, or whatever else you care to have with it. You know, when it comes to sausage gravy, one thing's always for certain. There's usually no middle ground when it comes to sausage gravy. People either love it or they hate it. If you're one of those people who love it, now you know how to make it. You're welcome. And if you're one of those people who hate it, well, maybe you'll like this next dish a little bit better. You remember that chicken and chicken broth I had left over after the last episode? Well, we're going to use that to take biscuits and make them into a classic southern dish. Chicken and dumplings. Here's how. Alright, we'll start out our chicken and dumplings by peeling and chopping about a cup each of carrots, onions, and celery. Now for the dumplings. We take some biscuits and we cut them into quarters and we spread them out on a plate so they don't stick together. Bring 2 quarts of chicken stock to a boil, then add the chopped vegetables. We'll let them cook for about 2 minutes, then we're going to add the 2 cups of chicken. We're going to let that go for about a minute, then we'll add the dumplings. As it comes to a boil, turn the dumplings over in the pot once or twice to allow for even cooking. And this isn't going to take more than about 3 or 4 minutes. This is where I usually add more salt and pepper because the dumplings will soak up a lot of it and the stew's going to need some more seasoning, but you can always wait till the end if you want. Test for doneness by fishing a dumpling out with the ladle and then cutting it in half. If there's no gooey, doughy part inside of it, it's done. Then you're ready to eat. When the dumplings are finished, serve by putting some dumplings in the bowl, then ladling the chicken, vegetables, and now the slightly thickened liquid over the top of it. Add seasonings, and voila, chicken and dumplings. A great dish for lunch or dinner, anytime. Now for our RebzWay. We're going to do a distinctly American take on an old English dinner, shepherd's pie. Take a look. Okay, we start out this bacon cheeseburger pie by taking 2 pounds of ground beef. Now we add 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons of salt, and a teaspoon of pepper. Now we're going to mix it in thoroughly. We want to make sure to get everything incorporated. We want the eggs and everything mixed in real thoroughly and spread evenly throughout. The egg is a binding agent. We're using it to hold the whole thing together while it cooks so that we can take everything in one big piece whenever we want to move it. And yes, I just tasted the raw product. Don't worry about it, it won't kill you. But what might kill you is the fact that I could put a little of that same raw burger on a plate with a quail egg and some chopped capers and a few crackers, call it steak tartare, and sell it in some fancy restaurant for about $15. Next, we take a baking dish and we're going to line the bottom and sides of it with aluminum foil. Then we'll add the beef, and we'll make sure to press that into the corners of the dish. Don't just let it get all tossed in all willy-nilly. Press it down. Try to even it out a little bit, but it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure that it's all the way in there. Once it's all in the pan, it goes into a 325-degree oven, and it's going to take about an hour. Now for the bacon. Take a cookie sheet. You see I'm using 2 because one of them is perforated, which allows the bacon grease to drain off, but that's not necessary. 1 pan will do. And we're going to lay out 8 strips of bacon on it. Now we're going to put the pan in that same 325-degree oven to cook. And this takes about 35 minutes. During that time, check it often. Turn the bacon pieces over on the pan if they need it, and turn the pan itself in the oven, as you can tell, to get a good even cooking on it. All ovens have hot spots, and it's just a matter of figuring out where yours are. Now, I like my bacon a little crispy. Some like it more, some like it less. That's up to you, which is why you're going to check it frequently while it's cooking. Once the bacon's done as much as you want it done, remove the bacon from the pan and place it on a plate that has paper towels on it, and that'll soak up some of the grease. Now we can tell when the beef is done cooking by the color of the juice that comes out of it when we press on the top. If the juice is clear, the meat's done. When it's not quite done, it'll have a little bit of red in it. When it's done, take it out of the oven, and the first thing we do is we're going to drain off the fat and juice that's in the pan. That's why I have a bowl there. Now to remove the beef from the foil. Place a larger pan on top of the baking dish, one that's large enough to cover the top of it completely. And with towels to keep from burning your hands, we're going to flip the pan over and take the pan off and remove the foil. It may stick a little bit, it may not. Just work with it. Try not to tear it apart. That gelatinous looking gray-brown stuff on the bottom of the pan, that's the blood and the eggs that coagulated during the cooking time. You can just scrape that off and throw it away. Now take the baking dish, and we're going to line the bottom of it with biscuits. If it's still hot, let it cool down before doing this. Be sure that the bottom of the pan is well covered with biscuit dough. Now we're going to lay down some cheese slices. I like to make this dish really cheesy, but if you prefer less cheese, just skip this part. And now we're going to put the bacon in. Now we take our big beef patty and we're going to put it on top of all of that. And now we put another layer of cheese on the top of that. Now this gets put into the oven and baked according to the instructions for the biscuits, which means that the oven's going to be turned up to 375 degrees. The dish itself takes about 15 minutes to cook. For plating, just cut and serve, and there you have it. Feel free to serve it with any sides you want, like French fries or vegetables. It goes great with pretty much anything. And that's it for this episode of RebzBasics. I hope you found the content fun and enjoyable today. If you did, click like and subscribe, and turn on notifications. Tell all your friends about the channel and check back regular, because we're going to have updated content on a regular basis. So until next time, we'll see you at Family Meal.